Yeah. Welcome to the open book, where truth don't hide, stories ride, and every chapter got that power. Turn the page, now you stepping in, where real ones talk and the fake pretend. From viral heat to deep convo, we write the truth, let the whole world know. This ain't just a channel, it's a movement. The open book, every story, every voice.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the open book. This is your host, Lakeisha. I hope everyone is having a terrific Saturday. It is a beautiful Saturday here in Texas. The sun is shining. And not only is it Saturday, but it is now our 11th wedding anniversary for me and my husband on today. And for that, I am grateful to God for all that He has done in us, through us, okay, with this marriage. And He has been the center of it all. I was listening to a video this morning that one of my friends put together for our engagement party. And at that time, my mom was in the hospital, so she could not be there physically. But she had left a message for us on the video, and the way she was talking in the message that she sent, it's almost as if it was in the future, because listening to it now, and she said, I may not be there in the flesh, but I'm there in spirit. But always remember to keep God at the center of your marriage. And it's like, wow, just hearing that. And 11 years later, here we are. So I truly, truly thank God for my husband, my best friend, y'all. He is hilarious. Okay. He is hilarious. So that's one thing that really drew me to him in the beginning too, is the sense of humor and how comfortable I am with him. So I just want to give our marriage a shout out first this morning. Also, y'all, if you would like to support the channel, there are various ways that you are able to support. You're welcome to send a super sticker, super chat. You can buy a coffee that is pinned at the top of the screen, and my Cash App is scrolling down below. If you want to send an anniversary seed, okay, as we celebrate later on today, you're welcome to do that as well. Okay. All right, let's get into it. Let's see who we have here so far. Good morning, Robert. Welcome. Thank you for Robert. Thank you for the encouragement that you just put on my posts. Okay, that really means a lot to me. And thank you for being first in the building. I appreciate that. Truth don't hide, truth rise. Yes. Hi, Second Sin for you. Good morning. She said, oh my God, open book. What new you already start. What new mess they got now in this case? I hope it's something that makes sense and bring us closer to the truth. Okay. Well, I will say this. Today is the first day that we have not gotten another story. Okay, let's start there. I think that that's room for a celebration that they haven't given us something else to think on, because we're not done now. Okay, we're not done, because it's already opened up Pandora's box for people to look into this. Okay, but today was the first day that there was not a new I would say a new little take on what happened. Okay, now we know it's been multiple stories, but not a new take. At this point, what we are waiting on is the information as far as, did Malcolm Jamal Warner's body make it safely back to the States? Okay, because there was a report from TMZ that process was going to start on Thursday. His body should have arrived back here on yesterday. Okay, so that's the next report we're looking for. Also, we're looking for an update on, has his wife spoken out? And I'm gonna show you a picture today of who she is. And then also, is his mom, are they going to speak out? And I'll say, let me just get the introduction part first, because I wanted to say something about that based off of something one of my subscribers put under my video yesterday. And y'all know I read through all of my comments. For one, if I need to delete any of them, okay. But I love to hear your voice. I love to get your feedback. I love to see what y'all are thinking. And no one has to agree with me on everything. I love to hear various perspectives. So yes, if you miss a video live, make sure you still comment underneath the video, because I still go back and look at all of those videos. Okay. Yes, he did leave a legacy, right, Robert? Hi, Mama Bear's Journey. Good morning, and thank you so much. I appreciate that. Hey, the Hood Realer, Texas got the biggest win. Okay, cornbread fed in the South. Hi, extra special. Welcome. Thank you for joining today, and thank you for that. I appreciate it. Okay, thank you, Robert. Let's see. No update today because they probably tuned into your channel and see us. Exactly. Okay, between this channel and Paperwork Party, baby, look, we on to it. Okay. Kicking up the dirt. My sis Shelly Shells is in the building. Thank you for joining, sis. Good morning. Yes. Okay. I read all of the comments. Yes, I do. I love it. Hey, Kathleen. Good morning. Thank you for joining. I hope all is well. All right, y'all. So we're gonna get into this thing. Okay. Make sure you hit the like button if you have not. That is for free. All right, so as many of us know, this past week has been a roller coaster of a week, a roller coaster of emotions, okay, from going from sadness to then confusion, because we found out Monday that the Malcolm Jamal Warner, who was everyone's favorite little brother, Theo Huxtable on the Cosby Show, had unexpectedly passed away. Excuse me. And at the beginning of this thing, we had heard that he had tragically passed away due to an accidental drowning and from asphyxiation due to submersion. Okay. Now, from that, there were various stories taking place, and all this happened in Costa Rica. Okay. We had people saying, he went into the water with a friend, okay, and the friend made it out. He did. Then we had no one on the beach to a lot of people on the beach, and all these doctors were there. They went in. One guy saw a shadow. That's how he knew he was down. So it's been like multiple stories, and I don't know if y'all follow Paperwork Party, his channel, but y'all, he has been on it. He has even stated that he's going to go to Costa Rica and take him an interpreter with him. Okay, hold on, y'all. 1 second. My son got this thing loud. Hold on 1 second. Okay, just to kind of see what is really going on, because it's been too many stories taking place. It's been too much conversation. And I think based off of, the autopsy was done. Now, that autopsy was faster than usual, okay? And some people turned it down. Some people were saying that, was this a paid autopsy allegedly? So what is that noise? Hold on, y'all. I'm sorry. My apologies. I'm like, baby, I know I'm not crazy. I hear a noise in there. And so I believe the autopsy was done quicker because they were trying to get his body back to the U.S., which we have not heard. Now, by them being private with a lot of things, as far as his life being private, we really have not heard from his wife, his mother, which are two of the most probably closest people to him. That is understandable on one hand, and I know one of my supporters said under the comments that she too has gone through that, when she's lost a spouse. And most spouses, if you're a widow or widower, they don't really want to talk. They don't have it in them to answer questions and things like that. So we need to respect that. And I get that side. I do. I understand she doesn't owe us anything, right? I think the part that a lot of people are talking about and wondering about is it's the suspicious circumstances that are being allowed, the narratives that have been allowed to be put out there. And as far as shutting some of that down, I think it comes from that standpoint, not as far as, oh, she owes us anything to come out here and answer all of our questions. No, because we do want to respect her privacy at this time, her daughter's privacy at this time, and her mom, his mom, and so forth. So I get that. But it's been so many different stories. As a spouse, I would want to protect my husband's reputation, his name, and legacy, and things that you are putting into actually the atmosphere. Because some of this other stuff that I'm hearing is putting different narratives out here. Okay. And the longer you allow this stuff to fester, it grows. It really does tend to grow. Mama Bear said, I definitely felt like he was my big brother, and I've been so sad. Like I knew him personally, but I feel like I do, and I hope there wasn't any foul play involved because he didn't deserve that. Exactly. That's all I keep saying too, sis, is I don't think that he deserves any of this. We have grown up with him pretty much. And just to hear some of the things, the inconsistencies and things like that. And I know another thing that came up was, are things being lost in translation from Spanish to English? Okay. And like I said on yesterday, I understand if there are some words or things that are misinterpreted. I get that part. But there are some things that we should be on one accord in English and in Spanish, as far as how many people were in the water. That should not change. Uno is still one. Okay. Dos is still two. That's all we're saying. Okay. It's the white. What's the white there? We should have a yes or a no. See and yes are the same. Okay. So we shouldn't have to try to figure out, oh, the wife made a phone call in the beginning. You get people confused, but now the wife wasn't there. Okay, so what happened? There's still so many pieces. Where's his daughter? Who was responsible if the wife was not there for taking his daughter back? So those are the types of questions. Okay. Hey, Karen, good morning. Welcome. That people were talking about. So not necessarily her coming out and answering all of our questions, because there may be some things that we may never find out with this. Okay. I'm just being honest. There may be some stuff we may not ever find out. She can breathe in peace for now, but with him being who he is, she can say something, at least let us know it was accidentally. Exactly. And like I said, after the surfboard comment, I did read that his mom wanted to allegedly get her own investigation started. I don't know if they've gone through with that or if that's being done behind the scenes, because there could possibly be some things being done behind the scenes. I read she was there earlier in the week but left. Yes, I read that part as well. So we still don't know about that part. And so Malcolm, he was very discreet, private with his life. He did live in California at one point, but then he ended up moving to Atlanta, Georgia, okay, to be with his wife, Tenisha, and their 8-year-old daughter. And so, hey, sweetness, good morning. Many of you may remember this picture here that Malcolm had shared on his social media. That and it's one of the rare pictures that we have seen with him and his wife and his baby girl. Now, his daughter is 8 years old. Okay. Now, in this article from MSN, okay, I was like, until I see it out there, I'm not going to really speak on it. I know Paperwork Party put the name out there probably 3 days ago, those of you who watch his channel. And now all of a sudden, y'all, we are starting to see more about her in these articles. Okay. So his wife's name is Tenisha. Okay. And she's been an actress, a model, and you really don't find her uh, in on too much. Even with her social media, you don't see too much about his wife. Okay, very few things. Now she's been in a few movies, and I know Law and Order is one of the shows that many of you may have heard of. Hi, Rich. Welcome. Yes, she is. She is. Now there was another Tanisha Hancock, and I saw someone under my comment saying she's an attorney. Well, that's a different one. Okay, this one is a model actress, okay? And so they live in Atlanta together in a home that they got built for $1 million. And y'all, I had showed shown the house to my members. If you're members, y'all are going to get more exclusive information that I'm not necessarily putting out into the public yet. So I suggest get your memberships, okay? Get your memberships. If you have not already gotten a membership, get your membership. So I have put it out just the front. And people are like, girl, are you sure? 1.3 million? Because I said, I don't know how the housing market is in Georgia, okay? Because that house here in Texas, it would not have cost as much. I know that much. So I did a little more research, and I was able to find a video that gave more of the house and, the back and things like that. And so I was like, she said, where's the million? Hey, it's no shade. I'm not laughing at it. I don't know if it's like added features on the inside that we may not could see, or I don't know if the land is expensive in Georgia. I just was surprised, okay? Because I know for $1 million home in Texas, okay, baby, you're about to have a huge house, huge. And so one other thing, and we're going to see on one of the videos from his podcast, Not All Hood, one of the actresses from The Resident, she was giving, her words and prayers and just thoughts of working with him. And she said that she lives almost down the street from him. Okay, so it must be an area, and it could be just a property value, but it must be an area where celebrities live as well. So she stated that she lived not too far from them. So, I mean, hey, I didn't know. But yeah, that part. But if you remember, you'll know what we're talking about. So then one of his best friends and bandmates had told them that Malcolm said that he had decided to move to Atlanta because he felt a bit more grounded, and he felt like it was a little more like home to him. So that's when he decided to move. So then he moved to Atlanta for his multi-season run on the Fox show The Resident, playing his fan favorite Dr. AJ, the Raptor Austin. Now, I'm a little bit upset because I didn't know Malcolm Jamal Warner was on there, and I probably would have watched. I don't know why I never got into the show, but I would have probably watched that had I known that he was on the show. I'm like, man, I did not know he was on there, because I would have definitely watched it. So then he bought this $1.3 million 5-bedroom house in the suburb of Decatur. Okay. And Malcolm pretty much told people that music and his wife and his daughter kept him from losing his shit. Okay. He pretty much said that really helped him, because y'all have to understand that with the Cosby Show, they were making, a lot of money back then, but he was like 13 years old when he joined the Cosby Show and when he played Theo. Okay, and he was on there for 8 seasons. That was the number one show between 1985 in 1990. Okay, so his fortune had accumulated, they stated, around $6 million. Now, back then, that probably was a lot of money. Okay, right now, I'm like, $6 million. But Theo, you would think that it would have like grown. But y'all, after all the scandal and things with Bill Cosby, some of the networks started taking the show off. Now it still shows on Fubo. If you watch Fubo TV, it's a streaming network. My husband watches the Cosby Show daily. Hi, Sammy Swirl, welcome. Real estate has really went up here in Atlanta. The area will make houses more expensive as well. Okay, that's what I was wondering, because I'm not from there, so I really don't know how that works. So that could be why it boosted up the price. And we don't know what amenities they have inside of the house. That can also drop, a price. It looked like a 3-car garage. I couldn't really see one part of it, but yeah, so that could really drive the price up. Okay. But I did notice that it has some equity though, because if he paid $1 million or 1.3 million, right now it looks like it's worth 1.5 million. Okay, so it is, the equity is run. So stations pay a record-breaking $600 million for the rights to air reruns beginning in 1988, a deal that has generated more than $1.5 billion over 2 decades. And this was according to Forbes back in 2017. So imagine how much more money they would have been making had the show continued, okay, to be aired everywhere in syndication. They would have been making a whole lot of money. Sweetness said it's on TV One to open. I watch it every day. Oh, okay, so it can come on. Okay, so it's on TV One. So those of you, because I saw some people asking in another live, where can they watch it? So we're seeing that it's on TV One. If you have Fubo TV, I'm not sure. I think it was coming on YouTube TV too. And some of these are streaming devices, so are streaming networks. So I don't know if it's on regular cable stations or not, but it is out there. So 2014, most platforms had pulled the series as a backlash grew against Bill Cosby because he was facing renewed allegations of sexual misconduct. Okay. And so he pretty much, went to jail for that time, and it just kind of put them in a bind. Okay. That everybody that was on that show kind of had to pay the price for that indirectly. Okay. A lot of them, because hey, that's messing with their money as well. When you think about it, it's messing with their money. Let's see. Will his wife get the royalties now? Possibly. I'm pretty sure everything will go to his wife. Now, y'all, this is interesting. Okay. I don't know for sure. And let me also say this live is for educational and entertainment purposes only and is covered under the Fair Use Act. Information shared is alleged in our opinions as we react to various topics and people. Now, there seems to not be a public record of their marriage. And yesterday I was asking someone, I said, well, is it possible that they would have gotten the record sealed? Okay, because there's not a public record of it. So, I mean, if they're really married, like legally married, then yes, she would be the next of kin and would receive his, now I don't know if he had a will and things. I would hope so. All of that in place to have everything settled. We don't know. Okay. But I'm hoping that things were set. Regular cable, you can still watch it. Okay, got you. Okay. Thank you for sharing that information. So then, y'all, some people were saying that they feel that Malcolm Jamal Warner got some little flack from some of his comments that he made related to Bill Cosby. Now, I know that back in 2023, he and his former co-stars, he had said, could be making a killing had the show not been yanked. Even imagining a possible reboot. Okay. He stated that we could have made a lot of money. Fuller House, they're doing their thing. The Connors, man, we be making a killing right now. And which is true because Full House, they did come back. So I don't know if they were in talks of doing a reboot of the show, bringing them back. The ones I guess who could come back. We know Lisa Bonet probably would not come back. But they were thinking about doing that, and then if they were in syndication, they would be making a lot of money. Okay. So then he was asked by interviewer Jamil Hill if he was resentful because one person impacted their lives and the way that the show was basically seen. And so his response was no, not resentment. I get how this business works, for one, and just that whole situation is so layered. I can't defend him, he's referring to Bill, or his actions at all, but I also can't throw him under the bus completely. There is the piece of the financial hit that we all took, but also it hasn't really affected my career. You see what I'm saying? So my thing is this, although he could have been making more money, he wasn't taking a hit. That's a blessing. Okay, that was a huge blessing because there are some actors that were on these shows formerly and they did take a hit. They did not make any money since they were on that hit show. So it's good when you got the real talent and can market yourself to play different characters. Kathleen said maybe they married out of the country, possibly. I was just wondering if it was a legal marriage or a spiritual. Okay. Common law. Okay. Common law stands up in the court. Because, baby, okay, I would want to play with that. You better put something in writing. Okay, because, baby, I don't know. But it's just, I found that odd. So, Malcolm said, he revealed that he and his team had worked to set up his career so that his life would not have to be dependent upon that show or dependent upon Theo. Oh, I love that, y'all. I really love that. Instead, he went on to appear in other projects, including the UPN sitcom Malcolm and Eddie from 1996 to 2000. Many of us watched that. He had recurring roles in Suits, Community, and other shows. He also played Al Cowlings in 2016's American Crime Story, The People versus O.J. Simpson. And so then, y'all, this is something that was interesting as well, because what is so ironic is when he was alive, some of this stuff, and I can only speak for myself, I did not know about him, okay, when he was alive. I didn't know he played on The Resident. I didn't know that he played the bass, okay, in a group called Biological Misfits. It's a jazz band, okay? I did not know that. I didn't know about his podcast. Imagine it, and I may not be the only one, but imagine if there are other people out there that did not know that too. But that if we did know, how much more support and money he would have made too. You see what I'm saying? One of his, I guess you would call it band member, said that he loved to learn. He never thought that he was too big to grow. He was always one to immerse himself into his passions. I love that. I love that. And then he also added that Malcolm was a warm, genuine, loving father and a great friend. He was very protective of his family, and they have formed like a fantastic brotherhood that he said was just, it's not just a memory, but something that he would always cherish. And he stated that he was devastated. This is one of his band members. He was devastated by the news, so he wasn't doing too good at the time of this interview. So I wanted to show a little snippet. Let me take this off of the screen of that. What did I do? Okay. Karen said, even though we would like to hear from her, possibly the wife wishes to remain out of the limelight because Malcolm always wanted their lives so private. Right. That too. Privacy comes at a real price. It does. It really does, though. That's a good point, Kathleen. Yes. Okay, let's see. Let me bring up the video. Hi, Uncle Charles. Welcome. Thank you for joining.
If all the world's a stage for the biological misfits, one of the biggest players just left it.
Disbelief. It was hard for me to conceive and comprehend what was going on.
Dash Smith, frontman for the group, reflects with his bandmates and brothers on the loss of Malcolm Jamal Warner.
He brought a sense of groundedness to the group. He was always searching and reaching and learning.
Warner drowned Sunday in Costa Rica after getting swept away by a powerful ocean current. He was on family vacation and left behind a wife and a daughter. He was just 54 years old.
Just shocked.
That was exciting to watch one of your TV heroes who now has become one of your brothers, who's elevating his gift and being able to stretch himself in a way he probably never thought of.
Craig Garrett produces the group that also plays jazz around Atlanta, a place Warner called home.
He always talked about how he loved LA, but he loved the community here in Atlanta. We put our arms around him, but he put both of his arms around us.
Warner starred as Theo Huxtable in The Cosby Show as a teenager, appeared in dozens of other shows and movies, and even won a Grammy.
When I first walked over that first day, it's like, oh man, it's Theo. Like, I grew up like watching him, and none of that ever came across. It was like within minutes, it was just like, nah, this ain't Theo. It's just Malcolm.
Just Malcolm, a bandmate, brother, husband, father, and friend who left a profound impact on the set, on the stage, and off of it. In Atlanta, Joe Ripley, 11 Alive News.
Such a fix.
Wow. So I know that they are going to pretty much miss him, as part of their band. He played the bass. My brother-in-law plays the bass as well. Hi, Leaky. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Queen Royal D is in the building. Hope you feel better, sis. Thank you so much for joining today. So, yes, I know they're going to definitely miss him. And so, let's see here. Hold on 1 second. Let me show y'all this picture. And this was a picture of him with his band, playing with his band. Like, I do not even know this side of him. Another member said that he had no ego. He never acted like a star. He was just another musician around town. And Malcolm had told him he was thankful he couldn't sing because he knew that if he had sung as a kid and had become a teen idol, then he'd be just another washed up child star. Oh my goodness, that was hilarious. Talking about not another washed up child star. Oh my goodness, for those of you who are just tuning in, welcome, welcome, welcome. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Malcolm Jamal Warner, he met his wife through mutual friends when he was 45, and he opened up about their relationship during a May 2025 appearance on the Hot and Bothered podcast. Okay. He pretty much said you don't have to be excuse me, in your 20s looking for your soulmate. He said that once he met his wife, he never second guessed it. He stated that they had been together almost 10 years and they never had a fight, an argument, a raised voice, or a harsh word said to one another. he said that it's not like they agree on everything. He just thought because they met later in life that they've been at a point where they have a way of communicating like adults. Okay. And then he was also very close to his mom. One of his cousins, Sanika Bass, had posted on Facebook that she was sure the actor was now with their late grandma, Mary, adding that losing a cousin like Malcolm has not only shaken their family, but it has pretty much touched a nation. And without her cousin, Pam Warner, which is Malcolm's mom, but also she's the original momager, there would be no Malcolm, period. She didn't just raise a son, she nurtured a legacy. Ooh, that was deep. When I heard that, I was like, wow, I love that. I love that. So let me see, what are y'all saying? You welcome, sis. He just seems so humble and down to earth. Right, exactly. I got that feeling too. There had to be something to go from watching someone and being in a band with him, and he didn't let stardom go to his head. Exactly. Yes. Dee said it sounds like great love, that God bless him. Yeah, I agree. Good morning, Susan. Welcome. Thank you for joining. So then, y'all, on yesterday, okay, Malcolm had been honored by his friends and former colleagues in a live podcast on Not All Hood. This was a podcast that he was a part of as well. So not only is his band members feeling the loss, but also his former, co-host on this podcast. And so I'm not going to play their whole show, but they did a virtual honoring type of show for Malcolm, but there are certain parts of it that I wanted to share with you all today because it really blessed me. It really touched my heart. Okay, let's see. Pull that up. And the title of it was Malcolm Left the Mic On. Okay, I love that. Let's get into it.
I know that there are some people that want to jump on. I think that do we have Danny still? I mean, we're talking about someone from the community who wants to get on. Is Danny, we can pop up Danny. Listen, folks, when you get on, you have about a minute and a half. We know that's not allowed, but it allows us to get more people on. Hello, how are you doing?
I was muted. Hi.
Hi, it's good to see you. It's good to see you with a smile on your face. I know why Danny got in. Danny got in because you work on The Resident and you were Malcolm's makeup artist. And let me tell you,
Yes.
Makeup artists will get to know a lot of information. Very intentional and unintentional. We just open up to makeup artists. And I know that you had a lot of thoughts about Malcolm and were very close with him over the years.
Yes, I was. Malcolm was a phenomenal person. He was a phenomenal human being. So I wrote this post about how I felt about him on my page, but I wrote about his character today specifically for this, and I wanted to share that with you guys.
All right.
Let's do it.
So I wrote that he was sophisticated, regal, intelligent, multifaceted, honest, disciplined, and authentic. These are my favorite adjectives that I like to use to describe him. His personality and smile was infectious. The level of integrity and grace that he continually showcased could have actually been a case study. His compromise couldn't touch him with a 1,000-foot pole. He stood firm on core principles that mattered most to him, like culture, character, love, vulnerability, and masculinity. He handled people with caution and care, regardless of their tenure with him. His light ignited hearts and the hearts and minds of millions across the world. He was indeed one of a kind, a magnificent example of brilliance personified. His legacy is a standard of excellence that is both inspiring and impactful. Although God called him home, his purpose, kindness, and impact will live on. Rest well, MJW.
I also know that, Tori talked about him going into writer's room and saying, hey, this script right here, yeah, not so much.
Oh,
he
yeah.
Did the same, he did this. You saw him. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So they would write something. So, in our industry, they have these things called sides. So, which is basically like what you're talking about for the day. So he'd look at it. And then if it was something that was ridiculous, he'd like storm in there and he's like, well, man, they're going to change this. Like if it wasn't about what was effective for the culture, everything that he did was intentional. I think I heard like Lane say that was a core principle of his. So it was bigger than him. So if he's seen something that, didn't sit well with him, he was going to amplify it. He was going to change it. So it really wasn't about him. How does this translate to the culture? How does this benefit Black men? How does this benefit Black women? He was very much that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I also know that he was about family. And I know that's going to be a theme for here. He was about family. So, I know that people, when they hear about, his passing and all of these mixed reviews, I mean, the one thing that we just need to explain is how much family meant to this man. I mean, there was never a day, never a time. He wrote me once and he said, am I mentioning my family too much on this? I said, go with it, brother. That is okay. Go with it. People want to hear that. I was like, tell your story, It is okay to mention your wife.
Now, that's interesting. He felt that he was sharing too much on there, but we didn't know out in the public. So on the podcast, he was sharing way more info about his family than I think he shared publicly, which is interesting. Another thought about that too, I was like, I wonder, okay, so when he was dating, there were 3, and he dated like with his relationships that were public, with those like with Michelle, with Karen, and with Regina, they were not just together for like a year. Like his relationships were lasting like 5 years, 6 years, each, throughout his life. So he had these long relationships that were known publicly. But then when he's with his wife, which was pretty much around the same amount of time or a little longer, we never heard about her. So that was just odd to me. I'm so hurt for his daughter and mom and wife. It's like we knew him for real. Exactly, sweetness. Yes, I agree. I totally agree.
Wife and daughter every other minute.
He absolutely adored his daughter. He adored his mom. He adored his wife. Like, that's just who he was. His dad, he would always, talk about the man that he is and, the origin of his name. And he loved family, but also he loved people. So he's the person that, when he would go out somewhere and, he would be dog tired because Malcolm is like always falling asleep somewhere on set. He's like off in a corner somewhere asleep because he's a million and one things like juggling in the air. He's like, he has a set at a show. He's like practicing for one thing and he's like reading lines for another show. And while he's on a show and he just had all these things going on. And so he'd be dog tired and he never called his fans. He never did that. So if someone would come up to him and be like, oh my God, Theo, in the industry that I work in, if you call an actor by their name, like their stage name, they hate that. He was never that. So if you'd be like, oh my God, Theo, can I get a selfie? He'd say, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Every time.
You're going to never see him attached to a scandal. He would never take a role that was like, that misappropriated the culture. Like you won't see him playing a drug dealer, or you'll never see him playing, womanizer or anything that misappropriates or any misrepresentation of a Black male or the culture, at large. He'd never do it.
Mm-hmm.
Danny, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for being with us.
Thank
tonight.
you for having me.
All right. Dr. J. Barnett from Just Heal, bro. If you could pull him up. I know that there's a collective response that people have had when it comes to really healing.
Quick question. Dr. J is not in the queue right now.
Okay. Who do we have in the queue?
We have Jessica.
Okay. All right. Let's roll some video from Jessica, because Jessica gave us some behind the scenes exclusive stuff in terms of The Resident. So we're going to roll a little bit of those pictures, see Malcolm in action, and then we're going to hear from Jessica Mizell. She is from The Resident. She gives us going to give us a lot of insight about Malcolm and what he brought on set. So here we go.
Wait a minute.
Social media's gonna have a good time with this one. So I grew up.
Your billing with the Titian, non-existent.
I am aware. Good talk.
The Titian's a $2 million machine. Chastain needs to make a return on its investment.
Well, the former is not my fault. The latter is not my concern.
Your contract has a billing quota,
which I exceed consistently. Okafor, show them the numbers.
We're gonna have those numbers.
Somewhere, someone's got numbers. Take a gander. Good talk.
All right, so a lot of people that have seen Malcolm on The Resident, they love that guy. All right, let's bring Jessica up. She's coming.
Hey, lucky lady, welcome.
Hello, how are you?
I'm well, how are you?
All right, we are hanging in there, Jessica. I know that you have a lot to say. You were so excited to be on here with us tonight. We're really just going to open up the floor like we have done with other people tonight to share with us just some of your thoughts. Thank you for sharing those pictures with us. It must have been great to work with Malcolm, I can imagine, because you were very excited to say, bring me on tonight. Bring me on.
Yeah, no, I had the privilege of working with him for 5 seasons. And, as you know, he was a brilliant surgeon, and I was always his funny little scrub nurse in the surgery scenes. But something I've kind of been reflecting on since, I got the news, is, so I don't know what the right word is, if the word is like strange or surreal, but it's such an odd thing and horrible to lose a former colleague and friend. And he was also my neighbor as well. We lived like just a block down the street from each other. But it's so strange to lose someone like that and then see them kind of in tabloids and all over the news. It's just a very odd experience, but it's also put in perspective for me his greatness. And I don't even know if he was fully aware of it, or if he was, he certainly it never impacted the way that he treated people. I think that's the thing I was so taken by when I first met him, because I was nervous because he came on with us for season 2. And, obviously I knew who he was, and he seemed like a great guy, but you just never know before you meet somebody if you're going to be disappointed in someone you admire. But my God, he exceeded my expectations. And I was so struck by his endless curiosity, and his warmth and his elegance. But mainly his ability to make me and others feel like an equal. I never felt like he was looking down on anybody else. And I don't even think that was something he had to be conscious of. I think it was effortless. I think it was at his core, an unshakable core value for him to see everybody as human and as an equal. And it really permeated throughout the whole set. I think it encouraged others to treat everybody that way. He led by example.
I love that. I love that. And I'm not going to show the full thing. So if y'all want to see the full video, y'all can go over to not all hood, but I wanted to share just portions. Now this guy here, I know y'all know him from some Tyler Perry shows. Okay, so we're gonna let me go back up right here. Okay, look at a part of his interview as well, or his remembrance as well.
If you could choose one of those to run before we get Lamont on, I think we probably have some more that we just want to share from behind the scenes with Malcolm before we get to Lamont.
Team, I think I might have gotten this wrong.
Once we get the story, I'm gonna tell twice.
I would like to. I have the pleasure and honor of introducing to you our panel guests. I'm sure everyone here in this audience knows Dr. Bernice King. So, is there anyone who walked in late and didn't see the film? Good, we're all on the same page. All right, so the principal herself, please welcome Ms. Nikki Gatton.
I'm still trying to get over you standing here. Like, all of our childhood dreams have come true, like, right now.
Yeah. We get a lot of that too. Oh, yeah.
Lamont,
how are you doing?
Welcome.
Can you hear us okay? All right.
I can hear you. Oh, there you go. Just trying to unmute this thing. What's up? I can hear y'all just fine.
Okay, good deal.
Can y'all hear and see me?
We can hear you.
Yeah, we are.
Yes, we can.
We can hear you.
All right.
Appreciate you this evening. You were on our one of our first shows. Yeah, a lot of people love that. Yeah, you were. That was our first recording day. That you came down, share some stories.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't know that. I'd have never known that. Y'all look like y'all been rolling for a few weeks.
Yeah. But listen, Malcolm would say I'm a good actor. My voice is
right.
I'm a good actor.
Right.
But I know that you certainly you've crossed paths with him for really decades, and I just wanted we're bringing on people just to share whatever they would like. People are talking about the cultural context, personal stories, brotherhood stories, whatever you'd like. The floor is yours.
Man, we talking, 40 years of like, who knows what to bring up. You're gonna have to be more specific than that. But
do you have a story that you think speaks to him as a person? That's what we've really been honing in on. And even when it comes to his acting and the types of parts that he took, he was very, very specific. And I know that that's a thing that you have also talked about, like, all right, the types of parts that I want to take, I have to be particular because I'm speaking for the masses in many, many ways.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So naturally I've been, we all kind of naturally just go down memory lane. Like, I think one of the fascinating things about if we talk about the miracle of birth, we need to talk about the miracle of transitioning just the same, right? Mm-hmm. So when you do that, literally, I think not only does that person's life kind of flash before our eyes, but so does our own. Yeah. And sometimes I wonder what other purpose there is sometimes in these times and in these experiences. And I think it is to be reminded of being appreciative of what you have and even what you had, as well as how important it is to really be present, cherish life. Obviously, don't take it for granted, but it makes you think back about all the many different times you laughed or cried together, or, you know, we've talked a lot about the trials and tribulations of of relationships, you know. And you know, I was you know, I was there for it. You know, we've been through some things, right? So but it also really sends me back to, like, I can see, like, I have a picture even in my head now of our mothers sitting and talking. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's these other things, and I was so looking forward to getting our wives together soon and having the kids meet each other, and you know, like, so, you know, just the fact that we didn't have that chance and that opportunity is heartbreaking. But I think was trying to remember the details of the first time we ever met. And this is something that keeps popping up, even with people that are in your life in however so many different ways. You think back, you're like, one of the greatest questions is, you remember when we first met? And most people don't remember. Most people actually don't remember. And there's something about that. Either way, I think that's fascinating. And it can speak to the intimacy of your relationship, whether you remember every detail or whether you have no clue when that first moment was, right? Because sometimes you're so present with that person, you don't even remember when that first event, right, happened, all the little nuances that were happening within or around you. And then there's other people, because the connection was so significant, you remember every single detail, right? So I can see Malcolm's face right now as of, you know, I think he might have been 14, I think, and I was 13, you know? And the irony was that he was actually a special guest. He was like the featured performer in this show that I was in with other peers and classmates of mine. And now some of those people are my dearest of friends. And, you know, again, we've grown up together since those days together. And just the fact that the same, like, it's really as if no time has passed. The same vibes that we had then are the same vibes we have now, you know? And at the time that he was already coming into his celebrity, right? As a young teenager, you know, he might have been relieved even that I was around. You know what I'm saying? I know how it is. Sometimes you go certain places and you're like, man, ain't nothing but women here. You're like, oh, wait a minute. I think there's another dude. It's like, you know, like we can even be like that with black folks. You go somewhere, you be like, man, there ain't nothing. I'm like, oh, wait, are those black folks? You know? You know, it's like, is that a brother? You know? So who knows? He could have been like, yes, you know, like, you know, another guy, like, you know, my age, you know, but similarly, it was, you know, we were all excited to meet him, but then just that quickly, it was just two regular dudes, you know, two teenage boys just kicking it. Now, we had to be on point because we were in a show together. I can't even remember the name of the play, but I think it was it might have been the Warner Theater, coincidentally, in Washington, D.C. I think it actually might have been at the Warner Theater because I don't recall it being at the National Theater.
Right, D.
And did he? Yeah. Okay. So anyway, just remembering like just how down to earth, again, what I'm really speaking to is how down to earth he was, how grounded he kind of already was, right? I think one of the reasons why even the Cosby Show spoke to so many of us was not just, for some, it was so different, right? Remember, I don't know Many of you remember people were like, oh, that ain't black people. Black people don't live like that. They don't make that kind of money. That's not realistic. Again, everything from both parents in the home, all this foolishness, the narratives that a lot of people were perpetuating were that, oh, this is a lie. This ain't real black folks. So one of the reasons why, unfortunately, it was groundbreaking is that it wasn't a demographic that we really saw a lot of, especially in national television.
So I'm going to pause it there, but I do have the link in the chat if you want to watch the full video, because there are other people on there also remembering Theo and prayers and encouragement to his family. But just hearing how, and I'm glad Dee said that, she said it feels so great when people can say beautiful things about you when you pass away. Okay. I'm telling you, that's a great thing. You lived a great life and really impacted people's hearts. And I can already tell, like, it's so many people that will probably want to honor him. I don't know if they will be able, y'all, to keep that all private and a secret, because you're looking at someone that wasn't like almost pretty much an icon. I'm going to say pretty much an icon, because I felt like even back then, although those narratives were out like, oh, black people can't live like that and things like that, it also gave exposure, okay, that could happen. That one, if you and your family wanted to live like this and you were black, just like with the different world, that you could go to college and be black. It opened up that door. And so his life and others' lives that were part of those shows really opened up that for a lot of young people. And so it's so many people that will probably want to be a part of that and want to come and honor him. We may hear of at least when it's going to take place, and they may not show it publicly on TV or anything like that, like Whitney Houston and all of that. But we may, see some of it, hopefully. But that's the next phase, is to see and make sure that his body arrives back to the U.S. and for him to have his homegoing service. Now, out of this, the other things surrounding this, y'all, I don't believe it's over. That I feel that they need to get to the bottom of what really happened to him. I really feel that because there were too many conflicting stories. And so that does not go away. But we also want to give some room for his family to really grieve and get through this, because that's one of the crucial parts, is right after you have a lot to take care of, services and things like that. But I truly hope that they do their own independent autopsy and an investigation into the truth of what happened in his last moments. But yes, y'all, that was all that I had on today. Go back. That I had on today. Today is my anniversary, 11th year anniversary. For those of you that did not know, that came in a little later, my husband and I will be taking it easy today, celebrating. Okay. We have a moment we will be kid free. Okay. I said, I'm looking forward to that. Okay. But if you would like to bless this channel or to send us an anniversary seed, you're welcome to send a super chat, super sticker. My coffee link is posted at the top, and my Cash App it was scrolling on the screen. What did I do with it? It's scrolling on the screen. Okay. Dee said, God bless him and his family and friends. Yes, I agree. Rest in peace to Malcolm Jamal Warner. I will definitely keep you all updated. If I find out anything that, is a turning point in this, I have not forgotten. Okay. Also, grab your memberships, because I've been sharing things with the members only pertaining to this. Okay. But I hope everyone has a blessed Saturday. Make sure you hit the like button if you have not. That is for free. Also, if you have not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell. Look, my son's trying to do it with me. Make sure you subscribe.
And don't forget to hit the bell because you never know
when I'm going to go live. Thank you all so much. Y'all have a blessed day.
Adios.
Bye-bye.
You just flip through truth with the open book. If you felt that heat, like share and stay locked in. Another chapter done, but we far from finished. Truth on the mic, yeah, we handle business. Real talk, no fluff, just facts and fire. From the book to the block, we taking it higher. The open book, every voice matters, every lie shatters. Catch you next page.